What's up, Internet? Welcome back to the Roottrees Are Dead. In the last episodes, we've been slowly getting little information locked in about our possible infidelities. We've kind of explored a lot of different things here, but we are still struggling, I think. That's a big thing. So this episode, I want to... because I've taken a break since the last episode, I want to probably re-examine some evidence, reevaluate, see if there's leads I haven't pulled on yet. Obviously, that's how you play this game, but I want to go a little slower because I feel like I'm missing things. Yeah. So cool. So of the evidence that we have, also we haven't really looked at the numbers at all here. There's still stuff to grab from this stuff, so maybe that's where we can start too. But for the time being, let's just take a look at what do we have on the chart versus what do we actually have to fill in. So my China one is the one that's like the big question mark. That's the one that I had wrong in the chart to start with. All of this is definitely relevant. Whether it's actually on the chart is to be seen. We think Roottrees Australia is probably a non-starter. Yeah, Ruby Sprat seems pretty relevant. And we don't know whose this is on the 98, and we don't have a lead on Elias at all. But here's my thought about Elias. So maybe we could start there with a new lead. So we're thinking that Elias Roottree is the person here. I don't have a picture of him yet to confirm that would be the person here, but there was a mention of a Beth. Now, I don't know where I found that. It's going to be hard to source some of this information, but that's okay. But what I do have is an Elizabeth Cravensworth, and I have a Beth Knox. Elizabeth Farrow also could technically be it, but Elizabeth Farrow would mean that would complicate things, because then that would mean that the child that Elizabeth Farrow has is actually Christine Farrow, and then that would be, this line would be going all the way to here, which I guess is technically possible, but I would feel a little strange about that. So that said, Beth Knox is probably a person we should look up. I don't know if I've done this yet, but we should certainly try. Okay, no, not on Spider Search at least. And then the other one is Cravensworth, right? Elizabeth Cravensworth. Okay, just make sure I spelled that right. Yes. Now let's go to the periodicals. Okay, how about Beth Knox? No. We haven't tried Elias Roottree and some of the other periodicals that we have not really tested yet. So let's just see. What do we get? Time. Heterold, probably not. Chef signature. Actually, he was in Business Watch. Yeah, but it's an old page. I guess it also could be Gwyneth, right? Technically, if Gwyneth had the affair... Gwyneth Anderson. Just trying a little bit of everything. Okay. So we know Christine is their mom. We know she's definitely one of these two people. These two have a picture, so therefore they're probably on the list somewhere. This is also undetermined who that is. So that picture, let's just try to really suss this out. So this is the Brazil picture. And then we have just a girl in the background of this shot who's probably Cicely Sanchez. Right? Is it Cicely? Because it's not his wife. I mean, I guess it could be, right? We never got a picture of her. We don't know what she looks like. But that's weird because we then don't have a place for her. And she also died in the crash that Guy Hudson also died in. So that's a weird one. But this is correct. Stewart is probably correct. So is Mark. Unless the job is wrong, but police officer we know is correct. This should be right. And then Mark Clementine here. We know that he has 2 Clementine kids, 2 girls. Colleen Webb has these. And then one of those girls is married to someone, and then they have a child. I truly have a feeling that we're not going to get this evidence until we have a lead from something that we're going to get in the next piece. Reminders. November Roottrees was really difficult to place. I wonder, is she still difficult to place? Has the time passing helped identify her? News Time, Picotee, The Portland, Starlet, Team Blast. Nope. 'Cause she would be like 30, 40 here at this point, right? Yeah, I don't know. News Time has these two on the cover. Picotee is seemingly slightly important. Let's take a look again. So, met him on New Year's Eve, the last night of 1978. Guy liked to throw big parties. Was just coming off Changed Man. I looked for my next project. When his wife learned who I was, invited me to the party. Fortunate and good looks, but he really liked to exploit that to pick up women. And that is this book. This is not. I forget again. Now I'm forgetting like what. Is that how you spell her name? Sisely. Yep. Yeah, that doesn't exist. Unless it exists here. Oh, right. There are very few copies of the original published in 1920, but it was recently republished by the same company that printed Lauren's diary for schools. It seems they'd wished to capitalize on Roottrees mania. It did not work. Let's go back through this. Oh. A reprinting of an old book about Elias Rootree. It's blatant corporate propaganda. Oh, and that's how we get his picture. The dictionary defines propaganda as information, especially of a biased or misleading nature, used to promote or publicize a particular political cause or point of view. But if they were to replace that definition with a picture, it would be a picture of this book. The book tells you nothing new about Elias, and from what you know of his true feelings towards some of his extended family, you're not sure it tells you anything true about Elias either. The reissue of this book was so lazy that they reused the famous photo of Elias from Business Watch, whose copyright had expired. The best thing it has going for it is that it's only 85 pages long. Scathing. Okay, so, I mean, I'm just gonna... I don't know it for sure, but I am going to just put it in, at least his picture, just so I know. And then we don't know who his affair was with. But okay, that got us that. That's at least something. The company records list stuff, which is interesting. 6 pieces here, too. Sam also says her son Ernie once asked her, "Who's Beth?" because he overheard them yelling about someone with that name. As far as Sam knows, Elias once had a secretary named Elizabeth, a different Elizabeth from the supervisor from the farm. But that's a red herring, maybe, because I think there's also a Beth Knox. One of the farm supervisors was named Elizabeth Farrow. Elizabeth Farrow had a daughter who Sam never met, but who worked as one of Guy's secretaries. According to Elizabeth, a caterer from a local restaurant called Antonelli's met her daughter at one of Guy's parties, and they eloped quickly due to a pregnancy. Elizabeth wasn't aware that the party was for swingers. Rumor has it that her daughter showed up with Guy and didn't seem comfortable switching partners. Guy's main positive contribution to the company involved expanding to markets previously untapped by Rootree. However, when he went on trips overseas, they were often for weeks at a time, and Guy was known for spending more time and money. We knew that now. There's a section where Sam speculates that Elias may have also cheated on Gwyneth. Gwyneth was always much kinder to Sam than Elias was, and was the first to invite Sam to family events. While she has no hard evidence, Sam always got the impression that Gwyneth was able to coerce Elias into allowing Sam back into the family using some kind of leverage instead of it being a natural course of events. She mentioned that Elias and Gwyneth were known to loudly argue, sometimes about another woman. As far as Sam knows, Elias once had a secretary named Elizabeth. Yeah. So there's stuff here, but I just don't know. It doesn't give us enough really to go for. I really want to go back through the rabbit hole of the Garlands and see if they ever said anything about... Because, again, we have this photo with the hand, right? And I'm trying to figure out what universe this is coming in from. I really just need like 2 more, right? It's pretty obvious that this is Elias Rootree, and he was the first president of the company. We know that. I mean, that's going to be pretty obvious. So if I can lock 1, 2, 3 in, I just need a last name for you, Sonia. Flaviosaurus. Can I spider search him and try to get his mom? How about... Oh, here we go. Ashley York, a British model, appeared on the cover of Teen Blast wearing a fur shawl 3 months ago. This appearance doesn't lead to any useful information, but another more recent appearance in text only mentions she's dating Flavio Soares. In it, a Teen Blast reporter asks how they met. I was in Rio for Carnival, and he was on one of the parade floats. I had no idea who he was, but I liked what I saw, and I told my people to invite him to the party I was going to. I felt pretty stupid once I realized that we were going to his party. Well, his mother's party. She runs a media empire down there called Transmisa Paulo. Alves. Great, we got it. Transmisa Paulo is a massive media group. And hold on, let's throw this into Brazil. Cool. Is a massive media group owned and run by a mysterious woman named Sonia Alves. It seems Sonia Alves is a common name in Brazil, so she's shortened her name to Nia to stand out in the public's eye. According to a history page that's focused on her company and vague, unsearchable details, Nia received a significant inheritance in 1980 and invested it in many different manufacturing businesses in her hometown in Brazil. At the same time, she had just begun to learn the ins and outs of running a television network. She continued to work in television until in 1988, when Brazil began its period of reform. She felt this was the perfect opportunity to launch her own media company using her investment and connections. Now, her company owns television networks, magazines, newspapers, and advertising firms. After doing some translating, the page about Nia lists her as unmarried. It does not go into any other relationship history. Searching for Nia online, you'll learn that she stays out of the spotlight. She doesn't even appear at shareholder meetings. She sends a proxy. Cool. Okay, so I could very much put Alves, I think. And this should work. Yes! Yes! All right, we have done it. We have made progress. Yep. Cool. Okay, great. Salazar, Colleen Webb, Edsel Sterling. Great. Aha, all right. Knock at the door. Hello, Clark.
Sam reached out to me finally. I think I have you to thank for that one. My family's in a bit of a rough patch. Even though the candy is selling better than ever, everyone is fighting over the trust. The majority of us want to dissolve it.
Oh.
On paper, it seems like the right decision. The arguments about what to do next are endless and heated. More than a few Roottrees are worried about losing their wealth. I don't think we deserve it more than anyone else. I love my family, my wife, my daughters, even my son, who I hardly ever get to see. I want to keep them safe and secure. I didn't do anything to deserve this fortune. Hell, I probably deserve it less than most. It took me way too long to get my life together. Okay, enough about me. Here's the deal. I can't stop the majority from voting one way or another. If you keep passing along potential Roottrees, I'll keep adding them to the list. On the other hand, there's been some leaps forward in genetics. It may sound like science fiction, but we can actually determine who's in the family just by testing their DNA. What you've done so far has been very useful. Just keep filling out the tree and we'll prepare for the tests.
Right, so we're essentially proving that the Roottrees are, in fact, the Roottrees. Okay, cool. So, Edson Soares, that's a person. Yes, we got that. Lock it in. This is looking pretty gold. We're doing pretty all right here. Now we have the entire top half of this. We don't have a picture of Edsel. Or do we? Oh, wait. Did we have... Is that him? Wait, where is that photo? Other one. Her husband has confessed to thinks he's a Rootree. The details of this case. Stuart is the older boy wearing a vest. The woman in the photo is Mary Beth, the singer who made a fair... Oh, shit. I should have seen that. That is Sterling, I think. I don't think there's any other scenario where that makes sense. He is the father, whether he actually fathered the children, and then this is Mark. Okay, so those are some extra photos. That's okay. It's not essential for us to get those, so I feel pretty good about that. We didn't. The problem though is we didn't get more evidence, which I was kind of expecting to. So that's not good because that means I can actually get evidence. I could get everything I need. Shit, are you kidding? Um, I feel like this is the way I have to go now. Because these are the ones that I've developed as far as I could. A photo of Lang Jinyu from a recent article about the growth of female and Lang is her family name. So where is it? Lang Jinyu. And she's a CEO. But that that was incorrect, right? Wasn't it incorrect? It didn't work. But you were about the same age when you came over. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I just realized something. If she's a CEO... Aha! Searching for Lang Jinyu separately brings up much fewer results than Lang Tai. Okay. Lang Jinyu was even featured in Business Watch in 1992. She missed out on Watchman of the Year, but did have a pretty sizable article that mentioned some of her history. She was born in 1947, the first of 2 children. Her mother was already in her 30s when she had her, and had trouble conceiving a second time until 3 years later. This was Jinyu's sister. It became clear that her father was not going to have a son to pass the family business down. This is how Jinyu became involved. Her father stayed the president of Lang Tai for a very long time, and his daughters grew up. He began training them in hopes that one of them would have a son who could take over. One helped him in China, Jinyu, and the other in the USA. Neither were given any official titles. When he died, due to societal dynamics, the business passed to his male sibling, a younger brother, who we know. Let's pull this up. Hangyu. Many in the know knew that this could be a problem. His brother, Jinyu's uncle, was not a businessman and was not much younger than his brother. During this time, Jinyu essentially ran the company as her uncle's consultant. He began to have problems related to dementia, and Jinyu, who had already been running things behind the scenes, performed somewhat of a power play. She stopped working until the results of her absence began to cause problems. Only then did they admit they needed her. Nice. Interesting. Okay, so how about Lang Tai? Lang Tai was mentioned in Business Watch fairly often in the last 20 years or so. There were a lot of articles about the rise of Chinese companies. Unfortunately, this makes the search results not particularly helpful. When you sort to find the oldest articles, however, one of the earliest mentions from October 1979 stands out as very unusual because it doesn't involve Lang Tai's business. The article details a new, at the time, medical industry. In vitro fertilization was brand new, barely a year old. After the first successful IVF birth in 1978, it seemed the industry began to grow, and a featured article about different companies all over the world and the cost that they could charge for their services was in Business Watch. This included a few cases of high-profile customers willing to pay a premium. Apparently at the time, the CEO of Lang Tai was Lang Hongbo, the brother, and his younger daughter, Lang Jinyao, and her husband could not have children, so in an attempt to create a suitable heir, he paid key genes, probably that's an IVF thing, to have their child implanted in his older daughter, who was unmarried. The cost for this was apparently 380,000 yuan, or just over 100,000 US dollars. So let's look this guy up. And I want to put Lang Jinyao in here too. Lang Jinyao is mentioned very briefly in an article about in vitro fertilization from 1979. The article details a new at the time medical industry. In vitro fertilization was brand new, barely a year old. Okay, it's the same second half here. I wonder, can I spider search this? IVF, or in vitro fertilization, is a medical procedure that allows a woman to give birth to a child that was initially created in a laboratory. Sometimes this can be referred to as a test tube baby in popular culture. A woman does not necessarily need to give birth to a child developed from her own genetics. Sometimes, for example, a baby from an egg donor can be used. Other times, a woman can act as a surrogate mother for another woman who is unable to carry a child herself. If it does come up, for the purposes of your family tree, an IVF child from a surrogate mother will be marked as belonging to their genetic parents, and the surrogate who gave birth will not necessarily appear on the chart unless she is also a part of the family. That said, be sure to investigate these situations very carefully. They can often be tricky or misleading. Got it. So, an IVF child from a surrogate mother will be marked as belonging to their genetic parents. That is super important. But this is Jinyu, not Jinyao. So is this photo a red herring? Oh, that's really interesting. Let's go back. Key Genes was a medical company with operations in both the US and China. They made international news in 1994 after a whistleblower came forward. Apparently, their services were, in some cases, falsified. While they did perform IVF, the whistleblower proved that a few of their customers paid for a very different service, an alibi. The company would claim that they performed IVF on someone who was already pregnant to create a cover story for high-profile families who did not want to give up the child, but did not want the shame of an unmarried mother. The whistleblower claimed that they had helped do this at least 6 times, but only provided proof in one case, the daughter of an American politician who's unrelated to your investigation. Key Gene shut down after both founders have reportedly fled to Lebanon, where there's no extradition to either China or the US. Okay, so, right. To perform... I'm just going to highlight that whole thing. So, yeah, so then we're back to it being Jinyu, right? Because then what that means is if she actually had an affair with Guy, then that means that they use this service and Jin Yao's lack of ability to carry a baby to have a child. Now, that said, we have Min, but we also have Mark, right? So who else can I pull into... Because this has helped us. This one we looked up already. Yeah. Mark, I need a picture of, so I need to be able to... If Mark is on the tree... So, here's the thing, right? Like, I just don't understand this tree. Because... let me reread this shit. Where is... No, let's go back to this page, right? Hanging with the Hans. Focus on philanthropy, hanging with the Hans. Hans were chosen because... Actually, let's look up the Hans in Business Watch. No. Okay, so Linda jokes that the entire... So Linda is Jin Yao. Linda jokes that the entire situation... I was absolutely terrified to move to the U.S., but my big sister was desperately in love with the idea. She used to have this Butch Cassidy poster on her wall and was obsessed with Robert Redford. So that makes me think that Jin Yu had the affair, because as we said, Robert Redford is a red-haired dude star. Guy Hudson looks like him. That makes sense. That's like a cute little cue about that. Somehow Jerry and I were the ones sent here, but now we couldn't even imagine going back. When we had Mark, we never even considered giving him a traditional name. Meanwhile, my sister stayed in China and has thrived there. She doesn't even like visiting the US anymore. Our kids are complete opposite, though. Oh, kids as in... Oh, you know what? I might have messed that up. Because Mark couldn't wait to travel abroad as soon as he was old enough. He's actually in business school in China now, working with my sister. Our niece, who grew up there, was the opposite. She couldn't wait to get here. She started calling herself Lucy Lang in high school and flew out here as soon as she graduated. The name change apparently drove my sister absolutely loco. So I think I put her here, but maybe Mark is here. And he's like a college student, right? Is that what that's saying? He's actually in business school in China now, working with my sister. And then they have a... What is her actual name? Min Lang? Oh, no, but Lang would be her child. Min Lang. She's also a college student. You look like this. This would technically be... Well, no, because this would be your spouse? Who's your spouse? Why is this so hard? I don't know why this is the most difficult one for me, but it is. How are we doing? I think we're coming up on the edge, but I feel like despite getting 4, I still feel like I have not made a ton of progress, really. This is killer. The fact that I have an entire tree I haven't even touched. I think maybe that's what we really try to hit on the next time. See what I can do about this. Ooh, John Doe. I didn't even notice that. There's a fully named person. Whoa. Yeah, maybe let's go back through some of the intuition stuff and see what we can grab from all of this. I have some ideas. Maybe I have a little list actually that I didn't even talk about in this episode. I made a list of some stuff that I thought we should take a look at, but I didn't want to go there yet. I almost don't even feel like I want to put these all in until I feel confident in it. I'm going to get rid of it because I don't like putting in things that are a guess. I think it's unfair to what the game is trying to do to try to guess, because it does such a good job at trying to give it to us when we can. So yeah, in the next episode, I think we'll try to get this side. And of course, once we do that, we're going to get something completely random because we're going to go off on a side tangent, and that's because that's how it is. That's how this game works. All right. Well, I feel interested in the future. That's what I'll say now. I appreciate everybody coming back and watching these episodes, even the slow ones. Love and respect, everybody. Please give this video a like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.